Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Risa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you would like a show that keeps its themes, in a less mature level, I don't know, man, then go on over to her very own podcast, Unlocked.
Unlocked. Awesome. So what are we going to talk about today, sister?
Today, we're going to talk about Nancy Drew's support system. The Clue Crew at a glance. I liked my title for it.
I like it. It's like a thesis. I love it. It's kind of just what we do sometimes.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the Clue Crew. So who is the Clue Crew? The Clue Crew is Nancy's personal group of friends. So in the games, at least, it's Ned, Bess, George, and in later games, we include her father, and in even later games, Deirdre, kind of.
Yes.
I mean, we get to call
We'll get
her.
into that. We're gonna talk about their roles.
Yeah.
And why they are important.
Exactly. So, first thing, we're just gonna talk about who each of them is in the group. That's, first thing. So, Nancy, first things first. Obviously, it's her support system. She's the first person there. She's kind of the leader. She has the instincts. She's the person who is making the calls. Are we going to make the comparisons we were making in our notes, or are we just going to leave those?
I think we could probably just leave those.
Okay. So, we go a little overboard sometimes. But Nancy, she is, de facto leader because she's the main character. Honestly, that's why she's the leader, to be fair. But yeah, Nancy is the leader. She's in charge. She's doing her own thing. She's making judgments, not always the best ones, not always the best calls. But, she's making them anyway.
She's got good, instincts in terms of, outcome. But in terms of what she's actually deciding to do to get the outcome, it's highly inadvisable. But still, she gets it done. So that's good at least.
Honestly.
She's honestly the least interesting part of the Clue Crew.
Yeah, because for the most part, at least in the games, she's the self-insert,
Yeah.
In the later games, they give her a bad personality, honestly. But, they make her really judgy.
A little bit.
Make her really judgy. I'm like, ooh, that's bad look. It's a bad look on you, Nancy. But in the earlier games, she's just very, very bland.
Yeah.
But it's because you're supposed to kind of put your own self into her. So,
yeah.
That's fine. But, next is Ned, the reasonable one.
We gave each of them titles, by the way.
Yes. It's, it's what we do. We label things.
Yeah. That's what this entire podcast is. So, Ned, the reasonable one. But yeah, he's more likely to have, a mother hen sort of, reaction to things, where it's like, but are you being safe? I feel like he's the main one who actually puts things into realistic perspective.
Yeah. It's like all of this fantastic stuff will be happening in the story, and Nancy will just be going along with it and get swept away, and he'll be like, no, wait a second, what? I'm sorry, what's
Oh, it's
happening?
fine, Ned. I got on this ship with some people that I didn't know. Oh, whoa, hold up. Nancy. No, it's fine, Ned, it's fine. You're in a country where you don't speak the language. I know, but I'm sure it'll turn out okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, you're calling him from a burning building. Nancy, hang up. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and also, the other thing he's really good at doing is he puts things into perspective of, other people's point of view. We'll say things like, whoever did this is, such and such. And he goes, well, you have to think of it like this. They had to have done, such and such as well. She's like, wow, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, he does do a lot of... Yeah, that's actually a very good point. He does do a lot of, like, putting things into perspective for other people. He's very good at... Because I feel like he's the only one of them who's actually empathetic in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's not that, like, Bess or George, like, don't care about people's feelings. It's just they have a harder time understanding their feelings as being something. It's like, no, but I feel this way. Why does this person react like that? And Ned's like, well, you see, maybe because of this factor in their life, he's good at that.
Pretty much. He's the only one who has reasonable reactions to things, to be honest. And you know what? That's admirable about him.
It is. It's quite admirable.
It's admirable. So that's Ned.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we would talk about Bess.
The surprisingly helpful one.
Yes, that's what we named her. Surprisingly helpful. Bess blunders into doing the right thing. She never really does the right thing on purpose. As we see by Crystal Skull. I mean, we kind of are trying to do that on purpose. Most of the way. Tormenting that poor man. But, you know.
Tormenting the poor...
Most of Bess's strengths are just working with people.
Mm-hmm.
And just being generally genial.
Yes, absolutely. She's, you know, charmingly awkward. So people are like, oh, I can talk to her because, you know, she's got a charm about her, but she also is all awkward and clumsy, both physically and verbally. And so it's like, oh, she's not a threat to me in any way, shape, or form.
I was about to say, yeah, she's very non-threatening.
Yeah. Everybody's just kind of like, oh, yeah. So, and another thing is that she has this ability to randomly acquire information that is super niche, but becomes very, like, helpful. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to draw from examples, but she gets into certain things.
Yes,
and they're so
like,
weird.
Oh gosh, isn't there something in Deception Island because she's getting into cooking or something? And there's something that was useful or.
See, but it is things like
yeah,
that.
it's like she's always getting into something, and so it's interesting and useful to her. Or like in Shadow Ranch when they buy the book on fashion, so they can help us, you know.
Or in Danger by Design, she's into like the fashion world. She knows who JJ, GG,
Jing Jing.
JJ. Jing Jing. I'm like, I don't know, some insipidous name. Anyway. No, but she actually knows who she is. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah, here, let me tell you about this thing and this fashion thing. So she's got like the random information that we need. And it's like, oh yeah, I talked to this person and I learned this. Oh, thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah.
So,
and it's great that her interests, her like feminine interests and, you know, stereotypically girly interests aren't degraded in any way as well.
Yeah.
They're actually useful as well. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's surprisingly helpful.
The surprisingly helpful one.
Yeah. So that's Bess.
Then we come to you know, her opposite, but samey. Which is George, who is the absolutely necessary one.
Yeah. George, can you get me info on... Oh, I'm already on it.
George is that friend who helped you get through that one class that you just couldn't, like... You had so much trouble paying attention, and you had to study off of her notes because she was there in a pinch, and it was like, I have no idea what we just learned this semester. And she went, okay, it's fine. Here are my notes, okay? And here's my notes on my notes, and you'll be fine. So she's the desperately needed.
Honestly, she's dependable. She's, you know, she has a very logical way of thinking. There's never she never has any of the crazy conspiracy theories. So
I don't know, man. She's way more likely to be like, but what if it's ghosts, Nancy? George's like, or no, I'm so sorry. I went back towards Bess, and I was just...
Yeah.
No, but... Well, sorry. I'm just thinking of...
Yeah. Bess is always
My brain went back to Bess.
Bess is always like, what if there are ghosts? And George is like, there are no such thing as ghosts.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a Scooby-Doo villain. So they are...
I don't know. I feel like she's also one that, like, when pushed too far, she'd be like, I don't believe in ghosts, but let's be careful just in case. That's sort of always the feeling that I get from her. She's like, now, my logic part of my brain knows that there can't be a thing as ghosts, but the part of my brain that knows that there's always new information coming in is worried that it's a possibility.
I feel like she's the kind of person where if she gets enough evidence, then she'd be like, you know what? The logical part of my brain now says that, yes, I could believe that. There's enough evidence now. You know,
we've ruled out all the logical things. That must mean that the answer is something illogical.
Exactly. That's the kind of person she is. And you know what? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that's George. She's absolutely necessary.
The whole operation would fall apart without her.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, look what happens in Ghost Thornton Hall. Honestly.
Yep.
And then comes poor Carson.
Poor Carson.
Poor Carson. To be fair, he brings this on himself. We have him as the long-suffering father. And to be fair, he obviously does this to himself in a way of he doesn't want to know what she's up to because he'll just get more worried, but not knowing what she's up to worries him.
Yes.
So, you know, he's just putting himself in that position. It's his own fault, but still, you know?
But still, he's got a daughter who decides to go and risk her life constantly. He's, like, torn between, like, wanting to support her because she loves what she's doing and go being, like, you know, a rational father and going, no, you're gonna fucking die. What are you, insane?
Yeah. A mixture of pride and sheer terror.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is, you know, not healthy for him. But in terms of, like, you know, looking out for another person, it's probably, it's a pretty good, healthy thing to have. Healthy to have the fear when you've got a daughter who's Nancy Drew.
That's true.
Yeah. He has every reason to be worried about her.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many times she's been concussed.
Yeah. I'm fine, Dad.
It's like, no, you're really not.
No, you're terrible at this.
Yeah.
No, I always catch my bad guy. Yes, but that's not the point. You're gonna die doing this.
Pretty much. Also, he's just, I love that he's like, I'm gonna draw the line right here, and then he's immediately a pushover. Like,
yeah. Oh, yes, such a pushover. Well, you know, he raised a daughter partly on his own.
Hannah, that's not on his own.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, well, there's Hannah, but then also, like, I was partially referring to the fact that they made it seem like, oh, he raised her whole life on his own. But no, she was 10 when her mom died.
Yeah, that's
pretty much already pretty raised.
That's retconned in Spy, though. And I'm gonna put out there that I still don't really accept Spy as fully canon. Just gonna put that out there.
It's just some weird offshoot. It's just, it's because, I mean, have we even heard about frickin' Cathedral ever again? No, we haven't.
That was just an AU.
That is confined in its own universe.
Honestly, yes. I'll accept that.
Until I have further evidence contrary.
Yeah. But anyway. That's Carson. He's the long-suffering father.
Yes. And then we have our newest addition in the games, Deirdre, the reluctant one.
My girl Deirdre.
I am going to make the comparison in this, but we compared her to Cordelia in Buffy. So in like season 1, Cordelia is just this she's, the popular girl who it just happens to be around when the weird stuff happens with Buffy and her friends, and she just has utter disdain for them and everything they do, but she still ends up sort of being there to help save the day, and she just keeps getting more and more involved in the Scooby Gang, and it's like she doesn't want to be there, but she's also kind of happy being helpful, and then she has utter disdain for them, but she also really kind of wants to be with them, and that is Deirdre, in my opinion.
Yeah. Honestly, yes. She doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to care about anyone, but she still does it. She's accidentally helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, a deadly device.
Right? Oh, no, I told him you were terrible.
I'm surprised she even hired you. She wants to make fun of them, but she doesn't want anyone else to make fun of them. Really. It's kind of how it feels. It's like they're her people to make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to think, because she's always being, her parents always want her to be like Nancy.
Yeah.
And, she's got that whole thing going on. So it's like when people make fun of Nancy and her friends, she's like, you're making fun of who I'm supposed to be. Hey.
Yeah.
So it's like she's a little bit of all three of the girls, I think, is the thing, because she's got the can do of Nancy for the most part, and she's she's not a dumb person at all. She's very smart, and she's got a lot of the know-how that like George has, and then she's also got the absolute spunk of Bess. So that's why she both likes them and does not get along with them very well, because they're all facets of her that she,
Pretty much.
It's fun. It's nice.
Yeah.
She makes for a little spice in the kind of bland
stew?
Bland.
Clue stew.
The clue stew.
Clue stew.
The stew clue.
Stew
the
clue.
Stew crew. The stew crew is what I was trying to say.
Clue crew stew. Yes.
The clue stew crew.
Clue stew crew.
We have clue stew and we're a crew. We're the clue stew crew. Don't you misconstrue. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's like going over each of them and what their role is in the Clue Crew. Yeah. So let's just kind of talk about what we like about how Her Interactive uses them in the games.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that they really show them as a good support system for Nancy. They definitely show them they're always very supportive, even if they're a little enabling. Like, I'll put that out there. They definitely are a little enabling. But they are always very supportive of Nancy, and I love that.
Yeah. In all fairness, when you're friends with Nancy, you go with the flow. You realize that your plan is not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you can adjust or you can leave. They're like, nah, we put too many years in.
At age 10, they realized that there's no other way to do this. Yeah. But yeah, I like that.
So they do like to bring them in as both a support system for Nancy and also, really fun story components for us, because they've always got some story going on where they are, even if it's just something silly like, oh, we're painting Bess's room. Or whoever's room. I think it was Bess's room. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah. The point is, they've always got that kind of little story going on in the background. So that's kind of nice. And it's like a reminder that Nancy does have a part of another life back home. That's good. They're great for,
like C-plots.
Exposition.
Yeah, that too.
Exposition.
Yeah. Yeah, because Nancy has to explain everything to them, which is interesting. Yeah, so then she can explain some things that we didn't notice. That happens sometimes.
Oh, is that when Nancy thought about that part of the conversation? All right. Didn't catch that. Gotcha.
I did not get that from that conversation at all.
This person's really nice. Really, Nancy?
I didn't see that.
Happened? You thought that was cool?
I thought that was bitchy, but okay. You thought that was sincere? Okay, then.
He really seems to miss her. I think he killed her. Nancy, how did you get that from this?
Anyway. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nancy's a bad judge of character, honestly.
She really is. Nothing proves it more than when she tries to talk to her friends about what's happening.
Oh, and she wants to accuse all the wrong people. I like how they used to use them as hint-giving stuff.
Hint-giving devices.
Hint-giving devices. I did like that. I know it made no plot sense, but...
Yeah. Well, not in the way that they did it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Could have made plot sense if it had been, I'm having trouble with this thing, and they were like, well, why don't you try it this way? Instead of, I need a hint. Hey, why don't you just look in the closet? That doesn't make sense.
Don't worry, I'll see your name on the light up the marquee. Why would Ned say that?
So, Not
saying it was, clunky, but
yeah,
it was pretty clunky.
It was pretty clunky.
They became it's a much smoother hint giving process now. It's a little more like they're sort of suggesting.
Yeah, I mean, technically now you have an app. Well, actually now it's just in your task list, but
no, what?
Yeah, hints are just in your task list.
Oh, task list. Oh. Yes, I heard tablet. I was like, when did Nancy get a tablet?
Don't you remember?
Sure. Yes.
That's why, see, you should have finished watching my Labyrinth of Lie playthrough, and you would know.
I keep, starting it over.
Technically, there is a tablet. There are 2 tablets in Labyrinth of Lies. So
that is true.
Ooh, you're gonna have so much fun playing that on Senior. Since it took me 8 hours on Junior.
I don't want to.
But I really liked how they used it for that. I also like how all of them are useful in their own ways. Mm-hmm. No one is redundant. They all have unique things about them. So it's not like 2 people do the same things, and so it doesn't make sense to have all of them in one game kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be able to call Bess, Ned, and George all in the same game, instead of having to limit it to either Bess and George or Ned, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Mostly they just limit, based on how many voice actors they could afford, as far as I could tell.
I mean, that makes sense.
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty good way that they use them right now. It's a good dynamic.
Yeah. I like all of their relationships with each other. So, again, I love bringing up Ghost of Thornton Hall with Bess and Ned. So cute.
I love it so much.
I've kidnapped Ned. I love it.
And that's actually one of my absolute favorites because you don't get Bess and Ned paired up ever. So it's a nice.
It's adorable.
It's an episode of a show where these 2 characters that don't actually have much interaction get to go have an entire episode where they're stuck in an elevator together, and so it's nice. I like it
pretty much, and it's usually like, "Whoa, don't you know this about me?" No, we never talk to each other. Yeah. But I absolutely love that. And
so cute.
They all have their different ways of interacting with each other, and I think that's great. And same with, in Silent Spy. That's something I do like about Silent Spy. Carson and Ned interacting with each other. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff, and getting to see that relationship.
Sorry, just and be like, yeah, what did you tell Ned to do?
I told him to break into the house and steal.
Shut up, Ned. Sorry, yes, sir. You be nice to Ned. It's that conversation in particular.
I love it.
Is just A plus.
Absolutely love it.
The more we get of the dynamics, the better it is. It's more fleshed out. You feel like there's things that happen outside of the games that you're being clued into.
Pretty much. So those are the things that we think that Her Interactive has done well with the Clue Crew in the games so far, at least. But there are some things that we kind of wish that they would do with them as well, just kind of to expand upon it. And for me, I want more Carson. We only get to call Carson in like 3 games if you count Secret of the Old Clock, which I don't. I don't count that as a game.
I don't count that game.
Just don't count it. But I just wish that there was more Carson. I want to see more between him and Nancy. I want to see them exist together, you know? More than just a very, very strained relationship that they have right now.
Yeah.
You know? It's very sad.
Yeah, I want to see it get really healthy, because after the fallout of Spy, and you know, as much as I want it to be in its own category, but I did like at the end of it, we had Nancy and Carson, you know, having that nice healing moment, and it'd be nice to see that going forward.
Honestly, yeah. That was
I'd
nice.
like it. Yeah.
And yet then we just never heard from him again.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, okay, bye.
Well, I'll tell you about your mom, but How I Met Your Mother, but it'll take me about 7 seasons, so that was a cute little joke.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, pretty much. I also want to see more stuff from them.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you wanted to see more Deirdre.
Yes, definitely. And I wrote that, and then I thought, I honestly want more of all of them. Give me, I want to have Bess and Deirdre on the same line together. Like they're trapped doing something together for some reason. I don't know if they got locked in a room, or
what I want is to be able to call Bess and Deirdre, and they're the only 2 people you can call in the game, right? And they give you conflicting information.
I was getting ready to say.
So I can call Bess and ask her things, and she'll give me some information, but then I can call Deirdre and she'll give me completely separate information. And you have no clue which one to do. And so then later in the game, you'll call one of them, and they'll both be in the same place, and finally you'll be able to sort this out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that.
I love that idea. I just want to see them interacting more with different people. I want one where Ned and George interact.
Yeah.
I want George to be interning at Carson's office.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great. I would love to have George and Carson in the same place. It'd just be like, this is and you condone this, George? Yes? Because you know she wants to be, you know, the person that the parents all like and trust.
Pretty much.
And I would like more of them being, like, 1 or 2 of them being brought in as a physical character in a game.
Yeah.
I like that as an option. I know that they like to build a fresh cast for each story, so that they can, and then they have the characters that we know often in the background as phone friends, but then it's okay, I think, to have our background characters brought back to the front and to help fill out a cast, because it doesn't have to be all new people every time, you know?
I agree. Also, we could always do more stuff like with Alibi and Ashes and stuff like that as well. Not as intense as Alibi and Ashes. More like Crystal Skull.
Yes.
Which I think that's a great use of it, of having a Clue crew member there and being able to use them in a way that really helps, and you get to be them. I like that. I like doing that.
I like the hive mind in
I know, right?
Alpha and Ashes. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just, I think we'd be okay. I think our main takeaway from what we'd like to see in the future is we'd be okay with them being used more crucially.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes they are people that we can call, but we don't have to. It doesn't move the story forward. The story forward. You know, I would like them to be more crucial.
Yeah.
Like Deirdre was in
Deadly Device.
Deadly Device.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Completely agree. But yeah. That's how we feel about the Clue crew and how they're utilized in the Nancy Drew games. If you guys have a different opinion on them, you think we missed something out, then please let us know on one of our many social medias. Media is already plural.
It's already plural,
Jesus. Risa. It's already plural.
Jesus Christ.
On one of our many social media. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Tumblr, YouTube. Oh, on YouTube now, we have a custom URL. I'm so excited.
Oh, we do?
It is youtube.com/c/Krolmeister Sisters. I'm so
What's
excited.
the C there for?
That's just what all of them are.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so excited. So you can now find us there, and you can always show up on our Twitch page while we're streaming and talk to us there, or talk at us, whichever.
Whatever, man. Hey, the last time I streamed, there was math talk in the chat, so
Yeah. So just as a reminder, I'm Risa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister Sisters. And as always, we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.